'Twas a few days before hearth-warming up at Sweet Apple Acres, the apples were enjoying being applesauce makers. Then suddenly Applejack burst in from the cold. She was worried there weren't enough apples to be sold. Her family wanted her to just take a rest. She responded by saying this hearth-warming would be best. Although that night something strange was a-brewing. That squash-loving thing, what the hell is it doing? They awake to the horror of all of the squash, but Granny Smith has the answer, so no one is lost. It is called the Sasquatch, for any who care. Capturing it, the apples do dare. Apple Bloom is excited and running back and forth, asking odd questions like magnets, how do they work? But AJ denies any help from her granny sis and brother. She'll catch it herself, without any other. She tries and tries many ill-fated traps. This creature is crafty, much smarter perhaps. Finally she comes back in and concedes. She realizes help is something she needs. With the whole Apple family now joined as a team, they manage to capture Big Ol' Squashy and Mean. Then in an odd twist, that mysterious myth happens to just be Granny Smith? Turns out she had done this so they could spend time together. I have to give her credit. That sure was clever. So they all happily returned to making their sweets. For years, these memories they would happily keep. Granny then puts a pie out for old Sassy. I guess he is real. How classy. Granny does say, as the pie she does leave, "Oh, and happy hearth-warming eve." Well, that shtick got old after the first verse. Anyways, that comic was written by Bobby Curnow and art by Brenda Hickory.
And I will remind you, mispronouncing things is my thing.
Brenda's art kind of reminds me of Andy Price's work. Basically, that means there's a heavy focus on facial expressions, which gives the character more of an emotional range than can be accomplished in Flash. So, I really enjoyed this comic. Unfortunately, unlike my summary, it was not told in rhyme. That being said, it is still worthy of 8 sass squashes out of 10. It was a really nice holiday story. AJ learned that the holidays are a time to be spent with family, not worrying about work. You can do that after the holidays. She also learned, again, that sometimes asking for help is not a bad thing. Celestia, damn it, Applejack, stop being so prideful. Though I do have to admit that the Sass Squash was pretty laughably named. Seriously, this is Equestria we're speaking about. There are plenty of other mythological creatures in Equestria. Why not just include the Sasquatch? I mean, maybe because the Sasquatch is too closely related to humans, though I think Lyra would love it if that existed. But then again, they've done mythological creatures like the Minotaur with Iron Will. So I'm not really sure why they decided to go with the ridiculous pun of Sass Squash. This is coming from some pony who loves puns. That was just plain ridiculous. Naming aside, there are a few other things I took issue with the whole plot element of the Sass Squash. For instance, how in Equestria did Granny Smith pilot her Sasquatch costume? No offense to Granny Smith, but she has been shown time and time again to be old and weak. How could she lift and maneuver that costume? It looked pretty heavy. One could argue that the only time Granny Smith was actually in costume was in the scene where she got captured. Every other appearance of the Sasquatch in the entire comic could have been the real Sasquatch. That being said though, there's still another issue. How is the Sasquatch costume even still intact? I couldn't really fit it into my poem, but when Granny was giving her exposition dump about the Sasquatch, she mentioned it was not the first time that this has happened. The first time was several years ago, when she was much younger. So how is the costume still intact after all those years? It's the dead of winter. There aren't enough squashes or whatever to make a new costume. I did, however, like the fact that the Sasquatch was shown to be real at the end. Although that is kind of cliche, it was still good. It adds to the world building. It made me question, where did it come from? Are there other veggie-based monsters out there? We may never know. Well, that is my 2 bits on this festive comic. Tell me your 2 bits in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not suggest a future spoiler alert? And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Comic Sans, and I will see you next week for my review of Nay Anything, Part 1. Also, I know it's a few weeks away. This is kind of when this comic was scheduled to be reviewed, but happy Hearth Swarming Eve, every pony, and a happy new year.